And as the wrestling world mourned the loss of Jay Briscoe, it was Ring of Honor owner and AEW owner Tony Khan who had wanted to do a tribute show for Jay Briscoe, much like he did for Brody Lee. And of course, the tribute show was filmed and is going to be put up for free on Honor Club, the Ring of Honor's paid subscription site. It will be free. You can just go to it and watch. He did also say it would be on YouTube for free as well. But that was not the initial plan. Tony Khan had wanted to make that Dynamite episode last Wednesday the tribute show for Jay Briscoe. But apparently somebody in the network rejected it. They banned it. They blocked it. They refused to let AEW honor Jay Briscoe. They refused to let AEW mourn the loss of Jay Briscoe. All of this over a tweet that Jay Briscoe had sent out over 10 years ago now. And you got to remember, we've come a long way as a society in the last 10 years. Back then, it was controversial and it was not a good tweet, but it's not. Don't put it in 2023 context necessarily. You know, you got to remember this was not long after even President Obama, when he was elected, was against gay marriage. And it was something to the effect of, you know, I'm not going to read the tweets or show it to you or anything. It's not worth digging up. But there were some homophobic comments as well as death threats associated with it. For anybody that tried to influence Jay Briscoe's son based on his religious beliefs, not on bigotry necessarily, but on the basis that he's a religious man and was always taught growing up that, that's something that his God would punish or not allow. And of course, Jay has spent the entire 10 years since apologizing and earning back the goodwill of everybody around him. Not a person in the world has a bad thing to say about him. Not a person in the world has ever had an experience where they felt that they were ever looked down upon or, Jay loved everybody by all accounts, and he was a great man to everybody, and he treated everybody well, regardless of color, gender, sexual orientation, any of that. So you would think that after 10 years of apologizing and making good and righting those wrongs, that, the network would, at the very least, because remember, the network did not want the Briscoes on AEW. And I think this is worth saying as well. Before we get into the clip, I know you're here for the clips. Just let me fucking rant. It's my show. It's worth noting that Tony Khan wanted to bring the Briscoes on AEW TV. He was not trying to bury the Briscoes. As soon as he acquired Ring of Honor, he made an attempt to get the Briscoes on AEW proper. Put them on national TV where they fucking belong. But the network rejected it. They didn't want anything to do with the Briscoes. They were barely even willing to let the Briscoe. There was no video packages, nothing. It was a very clear and strict edict from the network that we do not want the Briscoes on our television station, based on this tweet from 10 years ago that he spent the entire 10 years trying to rectify and make good on. So you would think at the very least that once the man has passed, that they would allow, the wrestling community to honor the man and do a little tribute show at the very fucking least. But no, the network rejected this. We do not want any mention of this fucking guy on our TV. And it's a bullshit move. It's a pissy, shitty, cunty move. And I'm going to rant on it a little bit more. But before I do, I want to play this clip here of Jim Cornette. And Cornette was emotionally charged up. He did about an hour-long tribute to Jay Briscoe. And he cracked up so many times, got very emotional. And it's a very good listen. I have linked it down below in the description if you want to listen to the full thing if you haven't yet. But check out this clip of an emotionally charged Jim Cornette tearing Warner Brothers Discovery a new asshole and giving him his 2 cents. Check out this clip.
That some unnamed piece of shit who I would love to get the name of, and I promise you, if anybody can tell me his name, I'll tell 1,000,000 people real fucking quick. I can promise you that. But whoever this fucking guy is that has never said anything wrong.
You don't know.
Or girl, I'm sorry. Executive or executress that has never said anything bad or done anything wrong or said anything regrettable in public, or it is perfect in every way, who works for a network that has never had a convicted felon on the wrestling program, Nick Gage, who has never had a convicted felon, not only a bank robber, but now a rapist, Mike Tyson, past the wrestling program. If we're doing criminal background checks on everybody, let's go to the rest of the programming you just mentioned. The network that doesn't air a television program from documented wife slapper Dana White about a bunch of mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging fucking meatheads slapping a piss out of each other over and over until one of them gets brain damage and the other one wins less cash prizes than I get selling comic books in a month. They don't do that. I don't even watch any of the rest of these goddamn shitty programs that TBS and TNT broadcast these days, or I'm sure I could find some things wrong with people on them too. So how fucking cretinous of a goddamn inhuman piece of shit, slime from the puddle of ooze of the fucking pits of hell do you have to be, unnamed woman or man, that would not even let them show highlights and tributes to a guy who got killed taking his kids to cheerleading practice because of a mean fucking tweet? Fuck you. I'd goddamn double dog dare somebody in the sound of my voice or the fucking reach of this show to find out that name, and I promise you, I will broadcast it to the goddamn world along with any contact info that I can find out, and I would love the motherfucker to sue me. But in the meantime, why don't everybody write TBS and TNT and go, hey, fuck you? What kind of fucking pricks you employing over there?
Yeah, I think that's about as low as you can get. Very scummy move by whoever made that call over at Warner Brothers Discovery. Look, I get if you have some sort of moral or personal issue with that tweet, but let it go, dude. 10 years ago, the guy has not said a goddamn thing since. It wasn't based on hate necessarily. It was more based on ignorance or religious beliefs. And it wasn't coming from a place of hatred. And, there's people that have never let this go. And I don't know how this got on the radar of somebody at the network, because God knows there's been people on Warner Brothers television that have done just as bad, if not worse, or said just as bad, if not worse. It's been pointed out that Dana White has a fucking show on your network immediately following Dynamite called Slap Fight, with two fucking morons slapping the piss out of each other. Some dude had his literally had the fucking memory slapped out of his brain. All of this after Dana White slaps his wife on fucking camera in public in front of everybody on New Year's Eve. And the network's okay with that. You can abuse your wife. Fine. Abuse your wife. We'll give you a platform. We don't care. But how fucking dare you cite your own personal religious beliefs. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. And look, even if you don't want the Briscoes on your network to wrestle, that's even fucking stupid and bullshit, but point taken, okay? Whatever. It's your network. I get it. But the man has passed away. And not passed away because he did something wrong or whatever the case may be that we see with 95% of every wrestler that passes. But he died fucking tragically on his way home or to fucking his kid's cheerleading practice. Fuck you, Warner Brothers Discovery. Fuck you with a fucking twirling lawnmower. It's a Nightmare on Elm Street reference. It's ignorance. It's fucking, it's evil. This fucking guy needs to be called out. Letters should be sent to TBS, to Warner Brothers. Calls should be made. Emails should be sent. Pigeons, owl, whatever you want to fucking send something. They need to be put on blast. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this. Hopefully somebody somewhere collectively, sees all of the outrage over this over at the network. And it can't be fixed now. The tribute show's been shot. It's going to go up on YouTube and on the Ring of Honor network. But it should have fucking been on Dynamite. And that's the problem. This should have been on national TV. You shouldn't have been fucking buried on the internet somewhere. This is a man's life. A man that everybody in the wrestling community loved. A man that everybody in the wrestling community had a good thing to say about. A man that everybody came together to mourn the loss of. And they couldn't even fucking do it on national TV because some fucking dick-face cunt up at the network has a hair up his ass about a tweet that was sent 10 fucking years ago. I'm sorry. Do you have any fucking emotional bone in your body? Do you have a heart at all? Can you not separate your fucking little piddly ass beef over a goddamn tweet 10 years ago from the fucking man's life? A tragic loss for this fucking man that we're all mourning, that we're all having a hard time getting through. From wrestlers that have worked in the ring with the guy to piddly ass fans like me that have never met him, never talked to him. He touched us all in one way or another. And we can't turn on Dynamite and we can't mourn the loss of this guy. We can't celebrate the life of this guy on national TV. People have to wear armbands. Excalibur can say something at the top of the show. But how fucking dare we air any kind of tribute, show any clips at all, have anybody talk about it, cut a promo about it. We've had Mike Tyson on the network. That's no problem. He raped somebody. He spent his time in prison. He paid his dues. He paid his debt to society. Don't hate Mike Tyson. There has to be forgiveness in the world. And this goes out to, obviously, the network, but anybody who maybe even still holds a grudge against Jay for that tweet. There has to be forgiveness and there has to be redemption in this world. People have to be able to climb back. They have to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because when you turn people away from the light, they will continue to walk towards the darkness. You have to let people be redeemed. As long as they earn it, as long as they show it, as long as they truly seek forgiveness. And by all accounts, Jay Briscoe has tried to live this down, and we've got comments from Effie, who's the gayest wrestler you'll ever see in the entire life. He's gayer than Dalton Castle. He's gayer than Goldust. Effie is the gayest wrestler ever in the history of life. And he has come out and said that Jay has been nothing but warm and welcoming and kind to Effie. He's never felt any sort of hatred, bigotry, tension, uncomfortableness. Nothing. Nothing at all. Jay wasn't a bigot. He was a religious man. He saw a world that tried to teach his kids that they are perfectly fine being gay, when his religion taught him that that's a sin and that could get his kids sent to hell. And obviously, everybody has their own beliefs. I'm not a religious man, so I don't buy into any of that. But you can't fault a guy 10 years ago, too. It was a different world. We've come a long way as a society. You cannot fault a guy in that time, in that era, for having his religious beliefs. This is what was being taught to him his whole entire life. So he's defending his children's honor. He's trying to protect his children. That's where he was coming from, right or wrong. I'm not defending the tweet. I'm not saying it was right. That's not where we're going with this. That's where he was coming from. It wasn't from a fuck you guys, I hate you, I'm so hateful and bitter. It wasn't coming from a place of hate. It was coming from a place of religious belief and protection for his child. And he has apologized for this up and down. He's talked about how he has been educated differently, that he has seen the error of his ways. And this wasn't just something he said to save face publicly. This is something that he has shown, as Effie would tell you, or anybody else that spent time in the locker room with Jay and Mark Briscoe. And it cost them a lot. They were looking at a WWE deal possibly at that time, and it cost them that. It has even since, all the way up till now, cost them an opportunity to be on AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan would have easily put them on TV. He's wanted to. The network refuses it. They reject it. They want nothing to do with them. And the network's a bunch of fucking cunts, in my opinion. This is very lowbrow. This is very... it's disturbing that you can't put your heart in front of anything else. Because look, this whoever this executive is, they don't care, unless they are a wrestling fan who is also a gay man that saw this tweet and took it personally and holds a personal grudge all these years later. It's simply one of those things where they don't want the backlash. They're just looking out for themselves as a network. Like, hey, we don't want this gay basher on our TV, and then get all the fucking gay community sending us letters and yelling at us and condemning us for putting this gay basher on our television. That's all they're doing. They're just covering their own ass. But they never spent any time educating themselves on the situation, learning that Jay has been on a path of redemption this whole time. Nor do they care that the wrestling world is mourning the loss, the tragic, fucking sudden, tragic loss of this man. I bet national TV exposure would have done a lot of great things for their Give, Send, Go, which they've already exceeded their goal. The wrestling community's already come together in spades on that anyway. But the network don't give a shit. They have no heart. They don't care. No remorse at all. Tony Khan had to take his tribute show. He had to film it after Dynamite when people are trying to leave the arena. I've seen photos, at least, of the Ring of Honor ring skirt being set up, and, the arena looks half empty or more. And that happens, even after, going to a Dynamite. If you try to stay for Rampage and watch that, people start leaving. It's a lesser show, not as big of matches. People want to beat the traffic. They want to get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? So it would have been great to have had that tribute show on Dynamite in place of Dynamite. But It wasn't to be because of some fuck at the network. And I agree with Jim Cornette. If we're able to out this bastard, we're able to find out who made that call exactly. I would encourage the internet sleuths to figure that out and make it public. And Jim Cornette said he will make it very public, spread it around to 1 million people in a heartbeat, which he can. And then I think we should all give them a piece of our mind as a community. Hopefully that doesn't end up costing AEW a TV deal down the line, you know, because now we don't want to deal with all these bitchy wrestling fans. But it was a dick move. It was a dick move. It was a cunty move. It was a heartless move. And I think, look, you know, I talked about we need redemption in this world. We need a path to redemption while we're still alive. Jay deserved that. You know, he showed every effort to make good on that tweet and to apologize and to show a different way. And people deserve redemption in life, but certainly in death, I think we need to let go of some of these things for people and look at the bigger picture. You know, one bad moment does not define a man. It is their collective actions. And if you listen to any person who has had anything to say about Jay Briscoe this week, you will know that this man, the sum of his actions, he was an amazing person and deserved more. He deserved a lot more. And it wasn't for a lack of trying from Tony Khan, Ring of Honor, AEW, the wrestling community. It was some fuck sitting up in his fucking ivory tower in a suit with his thumb up his ass, just saying, no, I don't think so. Piss off. Well, fuck you. Fuck your kids. Fuck your family. Fuck your job. Fuck you. Hey, thanks for checking out that clip. Don't forget to check out other clips here on the channel. And while you're there, throw a like, throw a subscribe, and don't forget to check out full episodes each and every Sunday of the Pro Wrestling Podcast.